Are you bleeding cash on ads but still not seeing profits in your e-commerce store? Since 2019, Amazon ads have spiked 48%, Google costs 41%, Instagram 37%, and with tariffs and fees rising, your margins are disappearing fast. After shutting down my first e-commerce business, I cracked the code to scale my new brand 8 times while staying profitable. And in this video, I'll reveal my profit framework, 5 KPIs every e-commerce operator must track in 2025 to survive and thrive. Stick around because missing even one of these could tank your business. But first, let me share my personal story. 3 years ago, I hit rock bottom. After grinding 24/7, I had to shut down my CBD marketplace, the biggest in the UK, because I couldn't make it profitable. It broke me. But that failure led to my biggest win, scaling a new e-com brand, 8x in 3 years, profitably. How? I created the profit framework, 5 KPIs that turn struggling stores into wealth-building machines. Let's start with the first one. And trust me, 90% of brands mess this up. So let's start with the basics. P stands for profitability. Because if you're not making money on every sale, you are toast. The 3 numbers you need are CM1, CM2, and CM3. Think of your margins like a sandwich. CM1 is your revenue minus product costs. That's the bread and filling. Aim for 75 to 80% margin. CM2 takes a bite for storage, shipping, and marketplace fees. Keep it above 50%. CM3 is what's left after ads. Shoot for 15% or higher. And here's how to nail it. Negotiate hard with suppliers to boost CM1. Shop around for cheapest 3PLs to protect CM2. And for CM3, shift ad spend to TikTok Shop or Amazon, where customer acquisition is often 30%, sometimes 50% cheaper than in Google Ads or Meta. Let me show you a quick example. Let's say you sell a product for $100. It costs you $20 to make and $5 to ship. That means after covering product and delivery costs, you're left with 75% gross margin, i.e. CM1. Now you spend $20 in storage and delivery fees to your customer. Some of your sales are via marketplaces such as Amazon, so let's on average subtract another $10, and you're left with $45, and that's your CM2 margin. Then you spend $30 to acquire the customer. That includes not just your ad spend, but also the cost you pay to your agency or the freelancers you employ. In subtracting these marketing costs, you're left with $15, and that is your CM3 margin. $15 of your $100 retail price is the 15% CM3 you're aiming for. If you're an e-commerce owner struggling with margins, drop profit in the comments below. I'll reply with my financial model template. So next, how to make customers stick like glue. R is for retention. Focus on customer retention rate and subscription revenue. Use loyalty programs and email flows and SMS flows such as Klaviyo. 2 key numbers show how strong your retention is. First, your customer retention rate. That's the percentage of customers who buy from you again within a certain time, 12 months for example. And second, the percentage of your revenue coming from subscriptions or repeat channels like email marketing. Some brands have 20 to 30% of their total revenue coming from email and SMS. That's a great retention rate. Now, O stands for optimization in the profit framework. You want to balance how much you spend to acquire customers and maximize how much revenue you get back from that ad spend. There are 2 key metrics that help you track this. First, CAC, or customer acquisition cost. That's how much you spend to bring in a new customer, and it can vary a lot between channels like Amazon, Meta, Google Ads, or Google Search Organic, i.e. SEO. Now, secondly, ROAS, or return on ad spend. This tells you how much revenue you make for every dollar spent on ads. And if you're selling on Amazon, there are 2 more important metrics to watch. ACoS, which means advertising cost of sales. This shows you ad cost as a percentage of sales. And then there is TACoS, total advertising cost of sale, which looks at your ad spend compared to total sales, including organic ones. You cannot eat that one. So how do you actually improve your customer acquisition efficiency? First, are you sure you tested a channel properly? Some brands try more than 2,000 ad creatives on Meta before finding a winner where they start spending millions. If you have a low average order value product, maybe Meta and Google Ads is hard. Have you tried channels such as Amazon, TikTok Shop, or even Reddit? Depending if you're running a subscription-based brand or not, always try to push 3 times ROAS or higher. And here's something a lot of brands forget. Never ignore SEO. With all the LLMs out there, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, SEO is not only helping you to rank organically on Google, done right, it will also allow you to come up in the answers of the chatbots. So now you've got your acquisition costs under control. Great. By the way, if you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to my channel for more e-commerce strategies and how to make your brand profitable. Now moving on in our profit framework, how much is each customer actually worth to you over time? That is where FI for financial insights come in. To truly understand your business potential, you need to master customer lifetime value, or CLV, or some people call it LTV. The total revenue you can get from a customer over the entire relationship with your brand. Here's how to calculate it. Start with your average order value, say $15, and multiply it by the number of purchases a customer makes per year, like 12. Then multiply that by the average years they stay loyal, let's say 2 years. So that's $15 times 12 times 2 equals $360. But here's the kicker. You need to adjust for profitability by multiplying that number by your gross margin, say 75%. So $360 times 0.75 equals $270. This number tells you exactly how much you can spend to acquire customers and still stay profitable. So you're not throwing money into a black hole. This is why CLV is so important. And why does it matter, you might ask? Well, because the CLV sets the maximum amount you can afford to spend to acquire new customers and still stay profitable. A good rule of thumb, you want your CLV to CAC ratio to be at least 3 times, 3 to 1, meaning that for every dollar you spend on acquisition, you're getting $3 back in your lifetime value from your customer. But how do you actually boost your CLV? You can upsell more and higher margin products during checkout, ultimately increasing your AOV, and more about that in the next section. You can bundle items together or encourage customers to order more often. Last but not least, the last letter in our profit framework, T, stands for transaction. What customer spend per transaction can make or break your profitability, especially when ad costs are high. Trick to focus on here is AOV, or average order value. Have you ever asked yourself why the majority of the brand owners on Amazon never managed to launch outside Amazon? The answer is the average order value is not high enough to make customer acquisition costs on Meta or Google work for the product. And while you're giving away a lot of your margin to Amazon, the lower customer acquisition costs on Amazon make it work for cheaper products. If you want to scale your brand on Meta or Google, you really need to aim for $100 plus in terms of average order value. That doesn't mean your product has to be $100, but it does mean that your total checkout basket value should be around that number to justify the $30 CAC on Instagram ads, for example. And how do you do that? Well, one strategy is to offer upsells during checkout, like suggesting an add-on product for a small extra cost. Another one is to bundle products together into value packs or set free shipping thresholds that encourage bigger carts, like spend $100 to get free shipping. Are you still confused about where to start with the profit framework? So let's talk about how to actually use it. First, start by checking where you are right now. Go into your Shopify or Amazon dashboard and pull your key numbers. Things like CM1, CM2, CM3, CLV, AOV, CAC, ROAS, and your customer retention rates. Once you have those numbers in front of you, compare them across the time and across the benchmark numbers I gave you here. Aim for CM3 above 15% and a CLV to CAC ratio of 3x and a ROAS ideally higher than 4x. Next, look for the fastest wins. If your average order value feels low, try adding bundles, upsells, or free shipping offers to encourage bigger orders. And if your ad costs are climbing, test out lower channels like TikTok Shop and Amazon to bring CAC down. If your margins are still tight, go back to the top and renegotiate aggressively with your suppliers. And don't forget, building a strong retention matters a lot as well. Set up smart email flows after purchase. Offer subscriptions if it makes sense with products. These small systems make a huge difference over time. And finally, have a monthly forecasting or even better weekly tracking. Create a simple dashboard where you can keep an eye on your metrics and your retention rates, and where you can compare your actual numbers with the forecast numbers. And you also can look at the historic numbers and the trends. If something starts slipping, adjust quickly, shift your ad spend, tweak your offers, or test a new channel. And as you grow, keep doubling down on the channels which are working and the strategies which are working. Want to skyrocket your e-commerce profits in 2025 and 2026? Grab my battle-tested financial model template designed to supercharge your margins and scale smarter. Click the link below and join the Telegram community to get access to it. Join other 6 to 9 figure brand owners and start building a wealth-generating brand today.